I once had a new client tell me, "I'm so glad you're here. I've been waiting for someone to tell me what to do." And I thought, okay, we have some work to do before we even start, because that expectation, that's not coaching. And if I just jumped in without addressing it, we would have been working at cross purposes the entire time. So let's talk about something that might seem basic, but is actually foundational, explaining to your clients what coaching is and what it isn't. Here's what I've learned after training hundreds of coaches. Your clients don't know what coaching is. Even the ones who sought you out, even the executives who've had coaches before, they come in with expectations shaped by every other helping relationship they've experienced. Maybe they had a consultant who gave them a step-by-step plan. Maybe they've been in therapy and expect you to dig into their childhood. Maybe they had a mentor who shared exactly what to do based on their own experience. None of that is wrong, but none of that is coaching either. And your job before you do anything else is to make sure they understand the difference. So here's the thing I need you to really hear. Coaches, it is your responsibility to make sure that your client understands coaching and that coaching is what they need. This isn't something you do if you have time. It's not something you skip with sophisticated clients. It is your responsibility to make sure to educate the client on what coaching is and what coaching is not. This is part of competent ethical practice. Transformation can only happen after understanding is established. If they don't know what they're signing up for, they can't fully participate in it. ICF puts it this way in marker 3.01. The coach describes their coaching philosophy and clearly defines what coaching is and is not for potential clients and stakeholders. Notice what's packed into that single sentence. It's not just about having a definition ready. It's about being able to clearly articulate it to anyone who needs to understand your client, yes, but also their manager, their HR partner, anyone with a stake in the coaching engagement. And that word clearly matters. You can't mumble through this. You need to own it. So what is coaching? At its core, coaching is partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. Let me break that down. Partnering, you're alongside them, not above them. This isn't an expert-client relationship. Thought-provoking, you're asking questions that make them think in new ways. Creative, there's no formula here. You're discovering together. And here's the piece that really matters. The client holds the answers. They have wisdom within them. Your job is to hold the space so that wisdom can emerge. You're not the expert on their life. They are. Now let's get clear on what coaching is not. And I want to be direct here. These other approaches are not wrong. They're just different. Consulting is about expertise. The consultant assesses your situation and tells you what to do based on their specialized knowledge. That's valuable when you need an expert solution. Therapy focuses on healing. It addresses past wounds, processes trauma, works with mental health diagnoses. That's essential work and it's not coaching. Mentoring shares experience. A mentor says, here's what worked for me. Here's the path I walked. That's generous and helpful, and it's not coaching either. Each serves a purpose. Your job is knowing which one your client actually needs. Let me make this really concrete. When a consultant works with your client, the underlying message is, here's what you should do based on my expertise. When a therapist works with them, let's explore what happened to you and heal those wounds. When a mentor works with them, here's what worked for me in similar situations. But when you show up as a coach, the orientation is completely different. What do you want? What will you do? You see the shift? In coaching, the client is the expert. The client sets the direction. The client takes responsibility for their own answers. That's the distinction that matters. So when do you actually have this conversation? The ideal time is before coaching even starts, in your intake call or discovery conversation. You're exploring fit, and part of that exploration is making sure they understand what they're getting into. You'll revisit it in your first coaching session as you establish your working agreement. Some coaches include it in their welcome materials, an onboarding document that clients read before you meet. And here's what I want you to remember. This isn't a one-time conversation. Anytime you sense confusion, anytime expectations seem misaligned, you come back to this. Clarity is an ongoing practice. Let me name some mistakes I see coaches make. First, assuming the client already knows. They found you online. They asked for coaching. Surely they understand it, right? Don't assume. Second, skipping this conversation with experienced or sophisticated clients. The executive who's had 3 coaches before, the HR leader who manages a coaching program, they should know better, right? Still don't assume. Everyone has a different understanding. Third, being unclear about boundaries. When someone needs a different kind of support, if your client needs therapy, you need to be able to name that clearly and make an appropriate referral. Vague boundaries serve no one. Here's what I want you to take away from this. If your clients don't understand what coaching is, they cannot fully engage in it. They'll be waiting for advice you're not going to give. They'll be confused when you ask questions instead of providing answers. They'll wonder why you're not fixing their problems. Education comes before transformation. Your responsibility is clear. Educate before you coach. But defining coaching is only part of it. ICF also asks you to articulate your own coaching philosophy. That's what we'll explore next.